But what happens if the figure showing in the computer balance and difference box is positive, particularly if it's over £5,000? This means that the director's loan account is overdrawn, which is not a desired result, because it means the director has received more money from the company than the director has claimed in expenses. This is a situation that needs careful management. A director should not owe the company more than £5,000 at any one time. To correct this situation, the company will have to earn profits that should not be withdrawn from the company. You can now raise a dividend within the company, which would be funds that the company allocates to the director through the director's loan account. When the figure in the computer bank balance is positive, this is the minimum amount that needs to be raised in a dividend. It's now prudent to check that there is sufficient profit in the company to raise a dividend, and also to check the maximum amount your company can raise as a dividend. To do this, click the Reports tab and select the period from the beginning of your financial year for the company, in this case the 1st of October, to the end of the period that you're completing the accounts for, in this case the 30th of November. Select Profit and Loss Account and then click Preview. The report generated shows the profit and loss account for your company for the period you've chosen. At the bottom of the report, you can see the profit. To allow for corporation tax, we suggest that the maximum dividend you should raise at any time is calculated by taking the profit from the report, adding to that the dividends already taken, which you can see here, and then multiplying that total figure by 80%. Once you've decided how much of a dividend to raise, this dividend needs to be entered into More. To enter this dividend payment, click on Money Out and make sure that you have the correct month and Director's Loan Account selected. Enter the day on which the dividend was declared. Typically this is the month-end day. In the Details box, enter the name of the person to whom the dividend was paid, in this case yourself. If you have already set yourself up as a supplier, press your initial letter and scroll through the list. If you have not already set yourself up as a supplier, please see the separate video on notional payments for details on how to do this. Press Enter, and in the Payment Type box enter Other Bank Payment by pressing O or choosing from the drop-down menu. Press Enter. In the Reference box enter the period of the dividend, in this case November. Note that I've used a small n because if I press Shift N I will be taken directly to the Notes column. Use a small n if you wish to type in the Reference column. Press Enter and enter the amount of the dividend. Press Enter. More remembers that payments to this particular supplier don't have VAT on them. For dividend payments that's correct, so press Enter. More has gone to the last column that was used for this director, which is Use of Home as Office. This isn't correct. You need the payment to be in dividend payments, so press the letter D twice to jump to the dividend payments column. Then press Enter to complete the row. Once you've entered the dividend transaction, you need to continue to reconcile the director's loan account. So go back to the Bank tab and make sure that you're in the correct month for the correct loan account. Ignore the fact that Step 1 says enter the balance on your bank statement because there is no bank statement for a director's loan account. Ignore also Step 2 as there should be no more transactions to reconcile for money in. But there are extra transactions in Money Out, so click the second Click Here box and tick off the dividend transaction. Click OK. You can see that although this balance has now dropped below £5,000, it's still positive. In the event of this happening, please contact your accountant at BFCA for advice. To lock the month, you would need to type the difference figure into Step 1, press Enter, and then lock the month. However, may I reiterate that if your balance is positive, particularly if it is over £5,000, please contact your accountant at BFCA for advice. That concludes this video. You've seen how to reconcile the director's loan account every month. Remember, A closing balance that is 0 or negative is a desired result. A closing balance that is positive is not, and you will need to seek advice.